Short Game here, coming at you with another episode, coming at you from chooseyourrelationships.com, off of Love Can't Wait, which can be found at amazon.com. Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. So, about a month ago, I got a question from somebody that was in the Navy, and he wanted to know, how do you have a conversation with Japanese girls? And if you've been following me for a while, or maybe you're just new, I lived in Japan for about 3.5 years, and I still visit Japan every other year to this day since 2000, the year 2000. And I went to Japan 3 months ago, as a matter of fact. And so I have a lot of experience. I understand the people, I understand the culture, I understand how Japan came to be, basically. Japan is basically a white European colony. That's all Japan is. It's just an island. It's kind of like land that was taken over, basically, by European, white, Anglo-Saxon, basically, So it is what it is. But when you talk to Japanese girls, now the guy, he's in Japan, but I thought he was here in America. But when you have to understand that first thing I told him, you have to understand that when you're in America, when Japanese girls come to America, they're very different. They're on some other shit, But as far as being in Japan, for the most part, Japanese girls are pretty easy going, man. When I first went to Japan, I had a hard time the first 6 months, I would say, because it's very different. People are very somewhat passive aggressive most of the time. And one thing about Japanese girls is they're not going to be rude and reject you and cold dish you and handle the situation that most girls in North America would handle it if you approach them. They're not going to curse you out or tell you to get the fuck out of here, or why are you talking to me, or they're not going to say anything like that. If you approach a Japanese girl in Japan and she doesn't want to talk to you, she'll just keep walking, or she'll smile and keep it moving. That's it. She won't. Very seldom will she say anything negative or rude or whichever the case. Because number one, if you're a foreigner approaching the Japanese girls, that doesn't happen very often anyway. And that doesn't happen to her. Women don't get approached like that. Guys don't very seldom approach Japanese girls. And they don't get a lot of comments. They don't. Very seldom will you see a guy, not even a Japanese guy, approach a Japanese girl one-on-one. Very seldom. Mostly they like doing the group thing over there. They like the group date. So they'll have a bunch of girls and guys, maybe from work, and they'll go out to dinner afterwards or something like that. Or they'll go on a trip somewhere on the weekends or something like that. So it'll be like maybe 4, 5, 6 groups of people, men and women or whatever. And somehow they'll differentiate on or determine who likes who. And the thing you have to understand is people are not, women especially, aren't very straightforward. You're going to have to figure out if she's into you or not, or if she likes you or not. She's not going to tell you. You have to figure it out on your own. That's how they do it over there. So it took me a while to get used to that. And plus, a lot of times when you're talking to Japanese girls, they're just as nervous as you. So you just talking to her. She's gonna be nervous, and she's gonna probably gonna like it at the same time. Especially if you make a comment. If you say, hey, you cute, or say like kawaii, that means cute in Japanese. She might, if she smiles or she laughs, you know that she likes that, because it doesn't happen very often with Japanese girls. They don't get comments on a regular. So, and plus, foreigners don't approach them on a regular, especially. So that in itself will have her a little nervous. She'll be kind of surprised or caught off guard. And at the same time, she'll like it more than likely, especially if you have her attention. And you can just talk about what's going on in the environment. Wherever y'all at that given moment, you can just talk about that. Basically, you can talk about, hey, if you're at some event, talk about the event. How she liked the event. Where's she from? How long she been into this? Stuff like that. That's what I usually talk about. If I just, like, for example, if when I meet anybody, I just talk. I ask them questions about themselves. Really, I focus on them, and that's the same approach I would take on Japanese girls. It doesn't matter so much where the girl's from, but the only problem you might have is a lot of Japanese people don't speak English that well, so it might be a language barrier. But at the same time, she might be able to understand Japanese. She might be able to understand your English. Um, so y'all can work that out. Really, she might not be fluent, but she might know just enough to get by. And more than likely, she don't speak English a lot. So that old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. So, but besides that, besides the language barrier, I mean, you'd be okay. You'd be fine, really. But for the most part, Japanese girls are very easygoing. For the most part, the more attractive the woman, the more easy it is to approach. Because especially in Japan, the most attractive women, they really don't get approached. They're like hardly if ever, really. From my experience. So, because I remember, like, when I first went to Japan, this guy that was in Japan for like 10, 20 years told me. He said, if you get on the train, and if you ever get lost and you feel like you don't know where you're going at, he said, always ask the most attractive woman that you see, and she'll give you directions and point you in the right direction 99% of the time. And ever since that day, I always remember that. Even when whenever I need direction, or whenever I feel like I'm lost when I'm in Japan, it doesn't happen anymore, because I've been around for like over almost 20 years now. But I always keep that in mind. And so if you go to Japan, and if you get on the train or bus or wherever you find yourself at, and if you get lost, always ask the most attractive Japanese girl for directions, and she'll point you in the right direction, and which opens a conversation up for you to connect and maybe get a phone number from her as well. That's a unique approach, because if she's willing to, most people are willing to help you out giving directions. So if she's willing to help you out to give you directions, more than likely she's probably going to be open for something else as well. So hey, you have nothing to lose, and just like I said, you're not going to get cold diss. You're not going to be like, she's not going to say anything that's rude and arrogant and like they do in America or anywhere in North America. So hey, that's just something to think about. So if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel, check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, Sharp King is out. Peace.